So today's webinar is really all about the human experience and how we get into this cycle of wounded identity structure and how we get stuck there, and then how we can step out of that wounded identity structure and into the new you identity structure, where you realize that you are the powerful creative force in your life and you can create whatever you want. So when we start out, we start out as these pure creative spirits. And before we're born, we're basically carried around in our mom's womb, and we have everything. We are fed, we're nurtured, we're loved. We don't have to do anything. It's there. It's just given to us. It's there. And what happens is that then we're born and we become an individual. And all of a sudden we go from having it all to not having it all. And it doesn't make any sense to us, because it's like all of a sudden you went from having it all to not having it all, and you don't understand it. So it creates this wound in us, and because of this wound, we have to make sense of it. So we create these beliefs that help us make sense of why we don't have it all. And these beliefs are all about things like, oh, I guess I have to do something to have something. I have to be somebody to have something. I can't just be me and have it. I have to be someone else to have it. I have to do something else to have it. And so that creates our orientation about life and what life means to us. And when that creates that, then we realize that, okay, so I don't have it. And you have to be good to have love. You have to be worthy of having love. So how do I become worthy? Obviously, I'm not worthy if I don't feel like I'm loved. So how do I become worthy? So you fix yourself, you heal yourself, you change yourself, you do all these things. How do I become good enough? Same thing. You do all these things to make yourself good enough, to make yourself worthy. And it's coming from a place of already not having. So every time we go for trying to fix ourselves, we realize that we don't have it, and it reaffirms that we don't have it. And because we don't have it, it reaffirms the wound, it reaffirms the beliefs, it reaffirms the identity about life and orientation about life, and we just keep trying to fix ourselves. And so it's a never-ending cycle. It just keeps going and going and going. And it is this wounded identity structure, and it's a structure of oscillation, it's a structure of victim mentality, and it's a structure of, you go for what you want and you have it for a minute, and then either you sabotage yourself or life sabotages you somehow and you lose it. Or, you go for it and it's like you get this close and the goalpost moves, and then you get this close and the goalpost moves. And it's like there's a carrot that's always on the stick right in front of you. You can never quite get. It's just always moving one step ahead of you. You can never get it. And it's a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And most of us are stuck here. So there is a way out, though. You see, you can go from the wounded identity structure to the new you identity structure. And that is by crossing the threshold into awakening. So instead of moving from how life is, the orientation, to chasing it and trying to fix it, you question, well, is this really how life is? And start to question who you really are. And you realize that you are not your creations. You are not your manifestations. You have everything. You are the person who creates that. So your manifestations, your creations, they have nothing to do with your worth. They have nothing to do with your value. It's just like the artist who creates a painting. Painting has nothing to do with the worth of the artist or the value of the artist. The artist can be standing in front of a blank canvas or a masterpiece, but the artist is still the same, and he hasn't changed. And so you step into the awakening. And then once you step into the awakening, then you say, okay, so now what do I actually want to create? And you create your vision, then you align with that vision, you set up values with that vision, you start living that vision and taking actions based on that vision, and then you slowly become the new you. And this new you is this powerful creative force in your life. And once you become this powerful creative force in your life, you remember that you are this pure creative spirit. And so it brings you back home to where you started, that you are the pure creative spirit, you are the powerful creative force in your life, but you're coming from a place of consciousness. You're consciously being this pure creative spirit. You're consciously being this powerful creator. that's in your life. And that is the cycle of human experience. And like I said, most people get stuck in the cycle. They get stuck in the cycle of sabotage. They get stuck in the cycle of victimhood. They get stuck in the cycle of not having and trying to fix themselves and heal themselves and fix the problem. And there's always some problem or something that they need to do in order to get. And so the goal is to get to this place where there's nothing you need to do. You can be exactly who you are and create what you want. And so you start creating consciously. You start creating because you love to create, because it's fun to create, because you're just a creator. That's who you are. And like I said, that is the human experience. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and I hope you all have a very good night.